Welcome to the open source sharing and tutorial for our ACE sheet. This is the one community back office that we use for tracking all of our time and projects and all the different things that we're working on. And what I'd like to do is just take you through a quick overview of it, and then I can go into a little bit of different detail on some of the more important points. The most important thing to recognize about this document is that anybody can create this. We're in the process of creating an application that will replace this and that will open source share as well, so everybody will be able to use that application. But in the meantime, this is just a Google Doc. It's a Google spreadsheet that somebody could take a look at this picture and recreate this very easily, very quickly and efficiently. So for us, it has really improved our ability to be accountable to each other, to get things done, to see what's happening, and just to work cohesively as a team. So once again, this is the tutorial. So if you're new to One Community, welcome. If you're just somebody watching this for interest reasons, welcome. And here's the overview. So real quick, across the top, what we have is we wanted to create this as a one-stop shop for everything that we consider to be important to One Community, everything from our contact information to our peace agreement, which is our accountability agreement, frequently asked questions, new projects. So this is our project planning template, our feedback format for giving feedback to each other, my schedule, our conference call details, our Google Groups link, because we use Google Groups to communicate with each other, which means that one email sent to the Google Group goes out to our entire team, and any response to that singular email address also goes out to the entire team. Pictures of the property, which we're not sharing until we own the property, so we're still working on funding and financing, but this is pictures of property. Anyway, all the links that are important that we feel are really important to pioneers are right here. This is our one-stop shop to access everything that we think is important. And for those that don't have access to this, that aren't pioneers, almost everything that's up here can be found on our website. So go to our website or Google One Community feedback format. Google One Community project template or project creation template, or just go to our website and search for these things. Google peace agreement, One Community peace agreement, or go to our website and look up the peace agreement. All this stuff is there and available for you to take a look at. So underneath these key links that you see at the top are our different project buckets. We call these buckets because we think of them as filling up the bucket, like completing different things, and each week you'll see these buckets fill up. Depending on what we're putting time and energy into, they fill up with the time and energy that people are putting in that's recorded by just copying and pasting your name right here. So if I were to Command C and then Command V on an Apple, or Control C or Control V for copy and paste, I can paste in my cell, and then I can just type what I did, and it's in my color, font, and format right there, real easy for everybody to see. And I could say, all right, well, I spent 2 hours doing that. And so this keeps track, and then somebody else would come along and they go, oh, okay, well, now I was working in the interview and hospitality team, and I spent 1 hour, and I did something else. And so they would type in their details in here. And so there's a running total throughout the week of everything that's happening in each one of these categories. And it's really cool to see these fill up, and then people put in, as much detail as possible, so you can see exactly what was being worked on. So it's not just peoplesagenda21.com. It's like, oh, I worked on the chapters on biotechnology and protecting the atmosphere, and so it's like, oh, okay, well, that's really interesting. On top of that, because the purpose of this document is accountability and being able to reference past information, we also specifically record everything that's tangible contribution. Now, this is really important. This is actually something new that we added to this, and the reason why we're updating this tutorial. We record our tangible contribution separately. And what that means is anything that produces a tangible result. It's creating a web page. It's creating a project page. It's actually creating diagrams and details like that. It's taking notes when you're doing research. All that stuff we want that accessible to the entire team. We want anything that anybody does that benefits us all to be accessible to us all. And we want to really keep track and make sure that we're focusing our time and attention on the things specifically that are helpful and beneficial to the entire team. And so that's what this bucket is for right here. And to keep track of those specific items, we add them as notes. So here I will keep a running total of all the different things that I consider tangible contribution. So here's 6 hours on People's Agenda 21. Here's 2 hours on the Khan Academy Ethos Solution. I would add those up and keep a running total throughout the week right here. So there's my 8 hours, and I would just copy and paste those details in here, or I would type out those details of everything that I did. And then on top of that, I add in a note. And so to add in a note, I just right-click on the cell, and it gives me this opportunity to insert a note. So I insert that note, and then, or control-click if you're on an Apple. And then once you insert the note, I insert the actual tangible result. I would insert the Google Doc where my notes were taken. Here you can see the website, the actual Protecting the Atmosphere web link that I worked on. Here's biotechnology page, so anybody could copy and paste that and go see what was being done. So if I'm a project team facilitator, I can look and see what all of my teams are doing on this project, because I'll see that they're putting in tangible time in the infrastructure, say column, and then they're recording their Google Docs over here. And I could go back 2-3 weeks down below here. We keep track of all this stuff, and I could see everything that's been done down there through these copied notes. And so it's all there and available. Really, really useful, really, really cool, and actually really, really easy to do. So just once again, select a cell, right-click, bring up the notes. If people want to know how to do that, it's right here. We also have welcome team facilitators, so for new pioneers that come on board, we connect them with a welcome team facilitator, and that welcome team facilitator's purpose is to get them up to speed on this entire document and to monitor their progress long term, so that if anything isn't being done, or there's any questions, or it seems like things aren't being done wrong, being done correctly, then that welcome team facilitator can check in with the individual and help them get up to speed. So that's the whole document, really. We keep track of everything in here. When somebody new comes on board, they choose a color and a font, and that becomes theirs. These little CFs stand for call facilitators. Anybody that's a member of the One Community team can be a call facilitator. We just rotate through the people that have designated that they would like to be call facilitators. The only prerequisite is that you be open to feedback. We're all trying to improve and get better at everything that we're doing, so it's important that people be open to feedback if they're going to be a call facilitator, and we have a feedback format, which you can link to that here or find on our website. And then, like I said, each time somebody comes on, all they do is they select their cell, they copy and paste it in here, and they say what it is that they did. They type that in there. This is what I did. This is what I did. If it's tangible contribution, they're also going to copy that information over here. So say it was 2 hours, so they would do that, and then they would come over here, and they would put in their 2 hours, and they would also say, this is what I did, and then they would add in a note as well to that. So they would right-click on that, they would say in note, insert note, and they'd say this is what I did, GDoc. And they would link to the Google Doc, and then they would put the Google Doc here. And then anybody who wanted to see what that is would be able to find that. At the end of the week, we total up. All these numbers should be totaled because it's usually a running total, and you'd put the 4 to 6 in this column, and then your total hours would go right here. And total hours is everything that you did in relation to One Community. Everything on this sheet with the exception of the feel-good bucket, which is just our place of recording fun stuff. So, and it's the same thing. I would just copy my name. If I did something fun, I'd say, hey, I did fun stuff. And I did it for 6 hours. Here we go. So this bucket doesn't count towards our total hours because it's just where we record cool stuff that we do. And then people could also comment on that. So if somebody wanted to comment on that, that's what these little boxes are for. And so they could say, cool, fun stuff. And they would just add that in. And so you'd be able to, we can make comments next to people's things as well on here. Really useful. And so at the end of the week, on Sunday, whenever people are done working on Sunday, or earlier in the week even, they total up all of their time here, and they add it up here. So tangible contribution, and there's a link on the website to what that is in there as well. And then over here they put that, they re-record that because there's a running total of what that looks like. And then total hours also. So total hours is everything except for the feel-good bucket. And that's it. That would be the entire ACE sheet in a nutshell. Oh, a couple other quick things. Over on the left-hand side, want to contribute creatively here. If there's stuff that we're working on where people could just dip in and become a part of that, we add that there. New invitation forms, things like that. We put links here so they're easy to find. If you scroll down, you can see a history of using this document and how much time we've put into all the different areas. So we like to keep track of that. These are all of our different conference call lines. We have a different conference call line for each of the buckets, and then our conference call times here for the ones where we're meeting every single week for a conference call. We have Monday night conference calls every week. And then down below we have the project team facilitators. We have the people that are members of each of the different project teams, and if you're new, you can say, hey, I'd like to know about education. I want to be a part of that project team. And so you'll be in the loop on what's going on with there and expected to participate in those calls, etc. And each person that joins the team is added to one specific project team that they would be part of. That's a really important part of what it is that we're doing. And then down below we have our welcome teams. So once again, I already said the welcome team facilitators are responsible for making sure that their welcome teams are doing everything that needs to be done. Once again, if you want to know what welcome teams are about, what project teams are about, just Google One Community Project Teams, or go to our website and search for project team or welcome teams. And all those details are already on the website. And if you're a new member of the team, you already know what all those teams are all about because you've already read all the different pages on that, or you will be soon. So that is the scoop on the ACE sheet. I hope that it was self-explanatory, or I hope it was useful, not self-explanatory. I hope that it was useful and detailed enough to answer any questions. If you're new to the team, ask your welcome team facilitator if you have any additional questions, and definitely get comfortable with this document because we use it a lot, although we will be replacing it with an application that's going to make it even better and more automated and streamlined as soon as possible. That's it. Thanks. Hope it was helpful. Talk to y'all soon.